All right, so get this. We're diving deep into AI today, but
Hmm.
this isn't just any algorithm. We've got one source today, but it's packed with intrigue. Think AI, open source, and maybe even sentient robots. The article focuses on DeepSeek. It's an AI model coming out of China, and it's sending shockwaves through the tech world. The big question is, why is DeepSeek such a big deal compared to what we know about companies like OpenAI and their GPT models? The answer lies in cost accessibility and a potential paradigm shift in how AI develops.
Yeah, it's a real David versus Goliath situation, especially when you look at the money involved. The article says DeepSeek was developed for less than $10 million, which sounds like a lot, but compare that to the $300 million OpenAI spent on GPT-4.
Wow, that's a huge difference. So does that mean mega funding isn't essential for AI progress?
That's what DeepSeek's success suggests. It really challenges the idea that you need massive corporations with deep pockets to make any real progress in AI. Maybe this means we're going to see more efficient development models, or it could point to a flaw in how we currently assess AI projects. It's definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. But DeepSeek is also open source. The article makes this really interesting analogy. It describes DeepSeek as like a child, learning and growing from all these different inputs from the global community, whereas GPT is more like a sheltered kid. What do you think about this open source advantage?
It's a powerful idea for sure. Open source has been shown to speed up innovation, but it also makes things a little unpredictable. With more people contributing, DeepSeek's evolution could be more dynamic and a lot less controlled. It's definitely exciting. But it also raises questions about safety and oversight, especially as the technology keeps advancing at such a rapid pace.
So more eyes on the project could lead to faster progress, but it also means more potential for things to go wrong.
Exactly. It's a trade-off we really need to consider. And this open approach is completely different from what we see in the US tech scene, which the article says is very driven by capitalism. DeepSeek coming from China represents a totally different philosophy, one that seems to have caught a lot of investors and hedge funds off guard.
So it's not just the technology itself. It's about totally different approaches to innovation and development. That adds a whole new layer to this story. But let's get down to it. Can DeepSeek actually compete with GPT-4? Is all the hype justified?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The article claims that DeepSeek is actually already better than GPT-4 in some areas, and these claims are backed up by early developer experiences. What's really crazy is that DeepSeek can reach this level of performance while running on a regular PC.
Wait, hold on. Better than GPT-4, but on a normal computer. That's hard to believe. If that's true, that accessibility alone could change everything.
It's a bold claim, and while early results seem promising, it's important to be cautiously optimistic. We need more testing and comparisons to be sure. But even the possibility of making this level of AI available to everyone is huge. Imagine if cutting-edge AI wasn't just stuck in research labs and big tech companies, but was available to anyone.
That would completely change the playing field. It's almost like the difference between renting time on a supercomputer and doing advanced calculations on your own laptop. So what are some concrete things DeepSeek could be used for?
The article highlights a few interesting examples. Imagine creating digital products like apps, websites, even games, without writing a single line of code. DeepSeek could make that possible.
That would be revolutionary. I've always been interested in the creative potential of coding, but it's hard to learn. If DeepSeek can bridge that gap, it would empower so many new creators.
Exactly. And that's just the start. DeepSeek could also power these personalized AI agents. Imagine AI assistants that are truly tailored to you, learning from your data and preferences.
Okay, now we're talking. We're getting into sci-fi territory here. Imagine an AI assistant that's not just responding to commands, but actually adapting to your work style and figuring out what you need. That's next level.
Yeah, exactly. It's about moving past that one-size-fits-all approach to AI and creating truly individual experiences. And it goes even deeper than that. The article suggests that DeepSeek could be integrated with cryptocurrency in a much bigger way.
Now that's interesting. What are we talking about here?
Well, the details are still fuzzy, but it's something to watch. The potential for AI to totally change how we interact with cryptocurrency is huge.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. From personal AI assistants to changing the world of finance, DeepSeek seems to have a pretty wide reach. It makes you wonder, is this all leading us closer to the singularity?
You're picking up on a key theme here. The article definitely links DeepSeek's rapid progress to the singularity. You know that point where AI becomes smarter than humans?
That brings up some big questions. Are we talking about a future where AI solves all our problems? Or something a little more unsettling?
The singularity is a really complex and hotly debated topic. And while nobody knows for sure when it might happen, DeepSeek's emergence makes these discussions more relevant than ever. It shows how fast AI is developing and forces us to think about the consequences, both the good and the bad.
It's a lot to process. But one thing's for sure, we can't ignore DeepSeek.
Definitely. From its humble beginnings as a side project to its potential to reshape the entire AI landscape, DeepSeek is a force to be reckoned with.
And we've only scratched the surface. We haven't even gotten into how DeepSeek could be used to create these mind-blowing applications.
You're right, there's a lot more to explore.
All right, then. Let's dig a little deeper. Tell me more about these so-called sentient AI agents. Are we really talking about AI that can think and feel like humans?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Let's unpack that next. The idea of AI being sentient, machines that can actually think and feel. It's one of the most fascinating and controversial topics in AI. It's been a big part of science fiction for ages. But with DeepSeek coming out, it feels like we're getting closer to that reality.
Okay, so let's break this down. What does sentience even mean when we're talking about AI? Are we talking about robots with emotions and consciousness?
That's the big question. And there's no easy answer. Even defining sentience in humans is a really complex philosophical challenge. And when you apply it to AI, it gets even trickier. Some experts say we can never truly replicate human consciousness in a machine, while others believe it's just a matter of making AI more complex and giving it more processing power.
So how do we even start to figure out if an AI is truly sentient? What are we looking for?
That's something researchers are working on right now. Some suggest looking for signs of self-awareness, the ability to feel emotions, or maybe even some sense of moral reasoning. But these are all very subjective and hard to measure objectively.
It sounds like we're in uncharted territory.
Mm.
And the article says DeepSeek could be used to create these so-called sentient AI agents.
Mhm.
Doesn't that raise some serious ethical concerns?
For sure. The implications are huge. If we're talking about AI that might be able to feel emotions or have a sense of self, then we have to consider their rights and responsibilities. Can we just treat a sentient AI like a tool? Or do we owe it something more?
Whoa, those are some heavy questions. And it makes those sci-fi stories about robots taking over feel a little less fictional.
Yeah, it's a valid concern. The article mentions the singularity, which often comes with this fear of AI becoming so powerful that it gets out of our control. But the truth is, we don't really know what a super intelligent AI would do or how it would behave.
So we're basically stepping into the unknown. And DeepSeek seems to be pushing us closer to that uncertain future.
That's one way to look at it. But it's important to remember that AI, even the really advanced stuff, is still a tool. It reflects what its creators intended and what they value. The real question is, how can we make sure AI is developed and used responsibly?
So it's less about stopping AI development altogether, and more about guiding it in a direction that helps humanity.
Exactly. It's about having these open conversations, setting ethical guidelines, and building in safeguards right from the start.
That sounds like a really big task, especially with how fast AI is developing.
It is, but it's a challenge we can't afford to ignore. The future of AI is something we need to work together to shape.
Well said. But let's step back from the big picture for a minute and focus on what DeepSeek means for us right now. The article talked about some specific examples of how this technology could be used, and they ranged from practical stuff to really mind-blowing ideas.
You're right. Those examples really show how DeepSeek could change many different parts of our lives.
Let's start with the one that really stood out to me, creating digital products without coding. Can you explain that a little more?
Imagine a world where anyone could bring their digital ideas to life. It wouldn't matter if they knew how to code or not. DeepSeek could give people the power to design apps, build websites, or even create interactive games.